Just wanted to make a quick video today about coronavirus because in the last couple of days we've certainly seen a lot of people fearful, anxious and panicky, and I wanted to give a few tips about why this might be and what you can do about it. Because essentially when we hear about something that's a pandemic, when we see all these maps with people contracting the virus all over the world, when we know that there is a slight mortality rate, even though compared with previous epidemics it's quite low. So it's easy for us to fall into panic. We hear a lot of people talking about it. Everybody around us is talking about it. We go to supermarkets, there's a toilet paper run and every other kind of food run going on. So what our brain does when we're confronted with this kind of situation is what we pay our brain to do, first and foremost, is to keep us alive. So there's a survival instinct that kicks in when this pandemic panic starts to rise in our brains. Okay, there's a problem, let's do this, let's do that, quick, do something. And this is what our brain is there for, right? It's there to keep us alive. It's there to tell us we should be taking action. But really what's happening in this case is we're consuming an enormous amount of information about this pandemic that is stimulating our brain to continue to panic all the time. It just keeps sending more and more and more signals to our brain. Something is wrong, something is wrong, something is wrong. And that overstimulation is what's resulting in the panic. Because when we come back to the actual facts of the pandemic right now, in terms of the population, relatively few people are affected. A large proportion of the people affected by the virus itself are in fact just having something which is like a cold or flu, and which they'll get over. And then a small number of the very vulnerable in society, the people who are old, frail, sick, for other reasons more vulnerable than the rest of us, are hospitalized, and some of them are dying. There is a mortality rate. But really the biggest effect on us now is travel, workplace attendance, public gatherings are all shutting down, and we're all witnessing the panic effect on the stock market, the financial markets, and we're concerned about that. We may have schools closing, children having to come home, colleges closing, workplaces closing, everybody having to go home. There is a social isolation factor, and our brains, our poor little overworked brains, are responding to all of this as if it's the sky falling in. But what I would encourage you to do is this. Ask yourself, how am I affected right now? Is my food supply affected? Is my travel affected? Are my living arrangements affected? My social and work arrangements? Is my bank balance affected? Okay, now what do I need to do about each of those situations to manage them? Because quite often what we're doing with the anxiety that our brain triggers off is we're worrying about the future. We're worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. But really what's happening now is quite often something we do know how to manage. And we can just say, okay, what are the adversities I'm facing right now in this moment? Maybe I can only buy 2 packets of toilet paper instead of 8. Have I got enough food right now? Are my family safe? Am I sheltered? These are the things that we can ask ourselves. Am I essentially in a situation right now that I can cope with? Because if I am, then there's really no mileage in worrying about what may happen in the future, because really we don't know. What we do know is this is a pandemic. It's almost certain to blow over in time. And what they're responding to, the World Health Organization is responding to, is trying to minimize the spread of this virus in order that the very weak and vulnerable in our society will be protected, and that we contain the pandemic in time and scope, if at all possible. And also the financial impact of that is going to affect some of us more than others. And so that's what they want to contain as well. So really, if you feel nervous about the coronavirus, ask yourself where you stand now. Ask yourself what you can do to look out for your family. Ask yourself how you can prepare for working at home and having children at home if that's what's required? How can you limit your travel plans? How can you keep yourself and your community safe from this virus by taking the precautionary measures and maybe staying at home if that's indicated for you? And then the rest, you don't really need to worry about right now. So the easiest thing for you to do is to listen to a reliable source of factual information and tune out the rest of the news. Get off social media, stop micro-watching the stream of consciousness about coronavirus from so many people. Stop watching the news. You don't need to watch the news. Once you've got the facts, it's enough. Because watching the news is just stimulating your amygdala. It's going off all the time. There's another problem, another problem, another problem. Well, really, is there? Because layering on top our worries and our fears and anxieties about what may happen in the future is not helping us now. It's not helping our emotional resilience. It's not helping our ability to cope with the situation as it is today. So really, turning off the news is the best thing that you can do for yourself right now.